Come on, hut.
There's the first fish.
Okay, once a year we make a trip to Garnffrwd and we stay over. On this occasion we're here for 7 days and we'll often target around the March time. We're hoping to see the first of the big hatches. But these trips aren't just about the fishing. It's as much about the fun and the banter that we have. And to be honest, to be up here with these pair, you couldn't get a better medicine. When they're together, they are constantly fooling around, but it's great fun. Okay, so when we stay here it's all self-catering, so the first thing we've got to do is get ourselves some food. On previous years that we've done this, we thought we'd make it simple and we'd just buy a load of cheap pizzas and a load of toppings to go on top of them. But we soon got fed up with the idea of that, so we thought we'd expand a little bit. But this isn't as easy as it looks. 3 blokes in a shop, let loose. It took us forever getting round that shop, and what we ended up in the trolley was unbelievable. Okay, so we're blokes, and what blokes needs a carrier bag for the shopping? The boys come up with the idea of just getting the trolley over to the boot and tip it all in. And that's what they literally done. They just grabbed an end each and tipped it into the back of the car. But on arriving, they had to come up with another idea. To get the food, without the bags, into the cottage.
Come on, hut, hut.
No way!
I thought you were there. Yeah, there's the bed. Oh, Shaun. Some of them went downstairs.
See who's touching my ass.
What a morning. Okay, so me and the boys were up here at our annual event of Garnffrwd. We're up here for the whole week. Now for the week, the forecast is pretty damn good actually, because we've had horrible weather, lots of rain as everyone knows up till this point. The forecast is looking pretty good and the temperatures are climbing up to about the 11. We did get a few hours onto the water yesterday afternoon and the fishing was tricky. We have been told that the fishing has been a bit up and down, fish being still a little bit lethargic. So each of us have set up with intermediates and floating lines and we're going to give this a go throughout the day. And on the floater I've set up a washing line method. But we're not looking for numbers today. If we can just make the most of the day, enjoy it, and obviously if we pick up a few fish we're going to be more than happy. Look at this Steve over there now. He's into his first fish, so he's doing quite well so far. We'll find out later what he's been fishing on. But that's probably in the first 10 minutes. Hey Steve, is that on the white haze one? Right, he's got an orange nymph on. Okay, we'll leave him crack on. We'll see what I can do in here. I'm going to fish with the intermediate and see how that goes.
Okay, so the boys are on the floaters, so it's worthwhile me going straight onto the intermediate. Checking out as many methods as we can as soon as possible could benefit our day.
Just let it drop down a bit. At the moment I've kept it quite high and a bit quicker.
Fishing at this time of the year can be at times quite difficult, but it's understanding what's really going on. For a lot of the waters there's plenty of fish in there, So for most of the fish in these waters, they're going to be resident fish. And these fish, their metabolism will be low. And this is due to the fact of the amount of food that's in the water. But as soon as we start seeing more aquatic life, the fish will respond. So there's only one way to guarantee an easy day's fishing, and that's to head to the water a few days following a stock-in. These stockfish are still swimming about, not knowing what the food is. But give them stockfish a week or two, and they will also start slowing their metabolism until the hatch arrives.
Bit deeper again, I think. Bit deeper, bit slower. I'm just watching across the water, watching Steve. He's obviously on a much slower retrieve. His pattern's a lot more weighted. The pattern I got on is a very lightweight. It's got that bit of lead in the back end of the hook. I'm starting to wonder if I'm actually doing the right thing here, because if I know there's a good few fish in by here by the looks of what I've just seen, and if they're not touching this, I've got to probably switch the method soon as, because obviously the more I'm trying, the more I'm starting to doubt the method, which is no good for catching fish. You've got to be totally positive in what you're doing. I've had one fish, camera wouldn't work. I've had a couple of follows, a couple of bumps, and I've just lost another fish again here now. That one was then quite deep, but it's really difficult. Visibility on the water is about 2.5 to 3 foot. We have had a lot of rain. 1 or 2 fish coming up on the top. It's not much at all. Oh, don't go over there. Come by here. I don't know if it's in the shot.
Okay, so the fishing for us hasn't been too bad. It may seem a bit slow, but considering everybody else on the water, we're doing okay. Steve did get another one, Sam has had one, and I've given up on the intermediate and I've switched to the floating line.
This has taken ages to get hold of this fish. Everybody on the water at the moment is struggling. I think there's only been 1 or 2 fish come out for most of the day. I've messed about with lures most of the time. I've gone on the floater and I thought, right, slow it all up. Small nymph on the point and a little blue size 16 on the dropper. And it's just be patient. And it paid off. Cracking rainbow too.
In case you're wondering, the fish did pick up on the small nymph. Now with the fishing being as slow as it is, I'm finding myself reflecting on a lot of different things. But most of all, it's thinking about what we were doing on this water this time last year. The fishing was certainly a lot better, and we had quite a few fish to the net. One in particular was quite a hefty fish, and that was pulled up on a buzzer. But what sticks in our minds most has got to be the snow. The snow came down so heavy that we thought we were going to be snowed in. But what a difference to this time last year. One thing that you may well notice is the amount of small mends I'm making. Just flicking the rod over to create a bit of slack line. That enables the pattern to fish that little bit deeper or maintain a certain depth.
Okay, yesterday was really tricky and there was about 8 or 9 on the water and there was quite a few blanks. Myself, I ended up with 2 and there was nothing about it that was consistent, and you were just finding the odd fish here and there. And we've noticed that the water is clearing quite quickly now. Visibility is getting a lot better. So what I've gone and done is put my intermediate braid back on. Now I took that off because I was fishing the washing line method, and I obviously didn't want the braid on there to start dragging it down. And that braid then helps, because once the cast goes out, I want that tippet and those flies to go subsurface as soon as possible, and that intermediate braid actually, as soon as it hits the water, is starting to cut through, and that really does help with the presentation of the patterns. Without it, you're going to be dragging 10 plus foot and your tippet and flies are still on the top. And the thing is, the fish actually, it's so windy and it's blowing the camera over, so presenting with the intermediate braid definitely is, for me anyway, it's an advantage, and it all makes sense just to cut through that surface film and get them fishing as soon as possible. So hopefully we're going to see a few more fish coming out today. Not moving about as much as I normally do, but what I'm doing is I'm fishing an area, so I'm on one pontoon for a lot longer and I'm fishing the water more thoroughly, because these fish, as I've found, I'm picking them on the bottom, mid-water and nearer the top. It's just so random, so you're having to spend more time in one area to check out those water columns, and by the end of the day you should end up with a few fish, and then we're going to be very happy. But we'll crack on, see what we can do for today. This is real, because this is a stonefish. Just so nice to see this fish. Good looking fish too, full fin.
Oh,
that was a brown.
At it. That's what I was trying to feed. Them rainbows are quicker than him, though.
Yeah. Oh, he come off. I've sat him into a fish. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. God, now they've locked me in. Come on, open the door.
You can wait for us. You're grounded.
Oh, idiots.
Okay, so the boys had to let me out eventually. After all, most of their belongings were indoors with me, and I was telling them what I was going to do if they didn't let me out. But eventually I do get onto the water, but the boys were still taking it easy up at the cottage. But I knew, for the time they were up there, they were obviously up to something else. So I'm sure I'm going to find out later.
What I've got at the moment is my day 2. I've got about 12 to 14 foot of tippet with the haze B&B on the end. That is a good pattern, and it's not how it looks, it's more how it's made up. But the pattern is more about the way it's balanced with weight and so on. A lot of lures, I've watched them and they're all over the place in the water, sometimes upside down, whereas this pattern, every time it fishes exactly as it should, and it works, and it's caught a lot of fish. But what I'm doing, I'm putting it out and I'm checking out different levels. Eventually I will let it drop, because the thing is, with an intermediate line, if you put it out there and you start retrieving too quickly, and you may not find the level of where you might be hitting fish till midway or closer to you.
So once you do find that you tend to be hitting more this side, then it's obviously you haven't given the line enough time over there. So hopefully give it a bit more time over there, and you might find the balance. Obviously today that's going to be a bit different because the hits are few and far between, so you're not actually going to pick up on anything like that. A few things to understand when you're fishing a sinking line or an intermediate line. So everybody will understand that we got different sink rates, from a slow sink rate to a very fast sink rate. But what is going to be better for you? The first thing I'll always consider is where I'm fishing, whether I'm fishing from a boat in a fast flowing river or on a small still water. So each of these situations are going to vary massively, and that'll determine as to what line you're going to be using. Normally, the faster the water flow, the faster the sink rate you need. Or if you're on the boat, the faster the drift, and depending on the depth of the fish, will determine as to what line you're going to be using. But what we'll do is concentrate more on the still waters, as that is what most of you will be doing. Now for me, I'll always pick the slower intermediate line, and this allows me to fish at many different retrieves and staying in a zone for a lot longer. So to help explain this, we'll use this simple diagram, and in the middle you'll see the red zone, and this is where most of the fish will be sat. So if we say we're going to be using a steady retrieve and we got a fast sink line on, we're going to cast it in, and before you know it, we're in the zone and we're back out of the zone because that line is going to continue sinking. But if we're on a slower sink rate, we can maintain that zone for a lot longer on the same steady retrieve. And if I want to increase the speed of the retrieve, it has no effect. All it does, it just slows its descent. Whereas if you're on the faster sink, you have no choice to stay in that zone but to retrieve a lot faster. But it's all about timing it right to keep that pattern in that zone for as long as you can. So hopefully now you'll understand why I will look at picking a line more on its retrieve than its depth. Was it fishing like then? Is it fishing good?
Only one. I've lost one.
Did you? Nice one, buddy. See you again. Okay, that's Steve's first fish for the afternoon session, and it gives him a total of 2 fish, which makes him joint top rod for the day, and it appears as if Sam has given up and become more of a gilly.
Let's go. Swim away, fish.
Yeah, but really, listen. Hey, come back.
What have you got on there?
Blue flash down.
Blue flash.
Okay, so it's been another very difficult day, but it's very rewarding when you do get them fish. But on the water there's been a few blanks, a good few ones, and Steve and myself with 2 apiece. But what is promising is the water quality. It's improving all the time, and for us boys who are used to fishing in clearer water, I think this could be the change. Okay, don't know what happened there. The camera started messing me up again. It's on the point fly, which is the red buzzer, and it just took off like a rocket. So really nice just to get this one again. I think that is top rod for the day now. Unbelievable, but you really do appreciate it when it does come, man. All the bulbs out of the lights. They've taken all the mattress and everything and made the bed back up, and it's like wood with a sheet on the top, and they've hidden the mattress and the bulbs. Here's the first fish. Unbelievable. And was pretty good.
him in. Push him in. He's off. He's off. I thought it was a monster. I had about 20 casts and I locked and you're still into it.
Wanna harm me?
Yeah. Did you the water?
No, I can see it there.
Make him do a bit something erratic, Steve. Jesus.
What?
Like splashing, sticking his tongue out at you.
Come boy, come boy. You're not listening.
That'll probably do. I'll just speed it up on the camera.
Speed it up.